Behind the glitz of Hong Kong's high-end shopping malls and restaurants, ancient superstitious rituals, unbeknown to the casual passerby, continue to be practiced. Over the last few weeks, I've been on a mission to understand why these traditions continue. And the best way to do this, practice them myself. God worship, villain hitting, fortune telling, getting a fortune crystal.
So Master Lord suggests me to wear them on my left hand.
I follow the fortune teller and talk to experts to try and figure out why these practices prevail in a modern metropolis like Hong Kong. You might be surprised how superstitious or religious Hong Kong people are. Take, for example, Tin Hao. She's one of the many gods worshipped in the city, and at least 350 temples are dedicated to her. Feng Shui masters can be so popular that fortune books top the charts here. They appear on TV shows, movies, and even in a rap song.
我一出世就識睇梅花易數，用咗20年羅間東南西北梗係分到，我掌又睇到，相又睇到，要 rap 都完全冇難度。
It's not just folk culture, but something recognized by officials too. From 2011 to 2016, administration of Hong Kong SAR paid at least 8.8 million Hong Kong dollars in feng shui disturbance subsidies. But why are these superstitious activities so popular here?
嗱，迷信咧就係一系列嘅一啲重複性嘅，但係相對上有少少固執嘅行為。而呢啲行為咧，你嗰個做嘅嗰個人咧，佢覺得做咗之後會影響佢嗰個運氣嘅。但係實際上嚟睇咧，其實唔係一啲非理性，而且其實係一啲冇我哋話 causations 嘅一啲嘅關係嚟嘅。即係話咧，其實實際上做咗嗰個行為同嗰個嘅好冇運咧，係並冇一個嘅關係喺度嘅。
首先咧，拜神啦，或者求神問卜咧，就係所有人類咧嘅一個通常有嘅一種心理嘅需要嚟嘅，就係我哋嗰個地理位置咧，就啱啱係喺呢個東南亞同東北亞嘅一個交匯點啊。咁我哋自古以嚟咧，其實都係一個移民城市，一路都有好多咧係由咧大江南北五湖四海，乃至係世界各地嘅人咧會嚟呢個地方。咁當佢哋離鄉別井去工作嘅時候咧，其實會遇上好多困難啊，或者好多咧人力係唔能夠係預計嘅一啲危機啊。咁喺呢個時候咧，當然就對於求神啦，係希望一啲額外嘅力量能夠保佑佢啦。亦都提到譬如打小人啊呢一啲嘅活動咧，其實呢個都同我哋香港一個商業社會係有關嘅，因為我哋咧係一個好密集嘅人口好密集啦，生活空間好密集啦，同埋咧一個好競爭嘅一個社會喎。咁所以喺競爭嘅過程裏邊咧，我哋除咗一啲係工作上嘅嘢咧，亦都有好多人事嘅紛爭啊、鬥爭啊等等。咁所以咧，佢哋係透過打小人嘅方法咧，就將呢一啲嘅我哋心目中嘅一啲小人啦，或者係我哋睇唔到嘅一啲障礙咧，就透過拜神嘅形式咧，係希望咧係驅走佢。
From the psychological perspective, these activities are clearly irrational and unusual. But there is an old Chinese saying, 寧可信其有，不可信其無. It means you are better to trust it than doubt it. So I decided to experience it for myself. Our first stop is Wang Dai Xin Temple.
As a local, born and raised here in Hong Kong, this is actually my first time going into Wang Dai Xin Qi. I don't know what to expect for, but come with me.
Situated in the north of Kowloon, the folk culture of Wang Dai Xin, or the Great Immortal Wang, originated in China's Zhejiang province during the Jin Dynasty. It came to Hong Kong in 1915 and was included in the National List of Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2014. Wang Dai Xin Temple is best known for prayers answered via the practice of 求籤. 求 meaning beg for or pray for, 籤 which means fortune stakes.
So I'll be shaking this bamboo container until a stake comes out. and while shaking, I need to like think about what I'm praying for. So let's do it. Okay. 52.
These sticks are marked with different numbers, and each of them correspond to a written oracle, usually in the form of poetry. So our next step is to find a fortune teller to interpret the poem for me.
52號籤咪問乜嘢啊？
問事業啦。
事業。
The oracle can be quite complicated and difficult to understand as they are veiled and usually written in classical Chinese. Take team number 52 for example. This is the oracle. 盤古, the ancient law created heaven and earth. Heaven and earth were formed with clear atmosphere above and muddy ground below. The two congregated in the middle and created mankind. Seeking for the oracle with the fortune sticks, one must understand the three levels of relationship among mankind with heaven and the earth. What does that even mean?
大仙爺話你咧係人咧就係屬於清嗰種人，
即係我係一個好清白嘅人嚟嘅。
好清人啊，清係屬於天嗰種人。
好啊，
咁咧人咧就係做嘢嚟講咧就係盡職盡責嘅。事業嚟講咧，你係好勤力啊！你做嘢，老闆會知道你工作表現好嘅，將來咧就係有前途嘅。啊！呢張籤最緊要就係分得三等，上中下大仙爺就話你屬於上嗰種人。
黃大仙 said I will have a bright future, but how and why? I have no way to prove it.
好多時咧，佢亦都唔能夠好清楚、好準確話俾你聽點解會係咁樣，咁所以就往往咧就會託一啲嘅所謂神靈信仰啊，你唔好問咁多啦。總言之咧，神靈就話俾你聽係咁啦，咁你就信啦。就用呢個方法咧，就將呢啲嘅要解釋嘅嘢咧，就輕輕帶過，所以就形成咗我哋一路以嚟都感覺咧，佢係有一種係唔準確同埋咧一種迷信嘅色彩。
My first ever 求籤 experience didn't go quite as expected. I thought she would at least identify my profession and give me some solid advice, not just some fake statement. But considering I pay only 30 Hong Kong dollars, I guess I will have to up my game in order to take a deeper look into my future. Next, a friend of mine introduced me to Master Law, a feng shui master and a fortune teller.
This way.
今日咧咁就幫你做一個批命，咁啊係一個我哋八字嘅批命嚟嘅。
係。
咁首先八字，你有冇睇過之前？
冇啊。
以前有冇睇過？
冇啊。
咁知道八字係啲咩㗎嘛？
出生年月日啦，係咪？
係啦。咁其實佢背後係啲咩咧？即係我哋用一個現代啲嘅講法啦。係。即係其實每個人嚟到呢個世界咧，都會有一個密碼俾你咁嘅，即係你又當係一個可能係一個 system 嘅一個曲啦。呢一個曲咧就係我哋喺呢個人生裏邊啦，咁啊你會經歷唔同嘅事，或者有唔同嘅起跌，都會喺呢個八字呢個密碼裏邊咧有少少參透到一啲嘢嘅。
Feng Shui and Yuan He scholars interpret one's life through 八字 or day of birth, and also the 5 elements: gold, wood, water, fire, and earth.
嚟到今年啦，2022年啦，今年就有好轉嚇。唔知你會突然間唔知咩事嘅情況下，即係例如早幾個月，因為行木月，木年嘅木月，早幾個月，尤其係可能2、3月度，你突然之間有個不其然地有個際遇出現咗，係咁啊喺事業上面又係明顯嘅，喺事業上面。咁呢2年都係你值得去把握嘅年份，因為呢2年行緊一個印運，佢都可以幫你個火咧生得旺啲嘅。首先嚟講，木同火一定要夠，咁所以咧我都幾推薦你着多啲綠色、紅色嚇紅色嘅衫啊，紅色嘅衫，
好難襯。
唔係戴帽嚇，綠色同埋紅色嘅衫，我都建議你帶2條水晶啦，一條我哋啱講火系嘅水晶啦，或者一條綠色即係木系嘅水晶喺左手。
Master Law said these 2 years are very critical. If spending a little bit of money on crystal can help, why not?
You can get one for like $200, $100, but some of them are really expensive. Look at this, can cost you like more than $1,000. This is what I got, a green crystal and also a purple crystal. So Master Lord suggests me to wear them on my left hand.
My first ever fortune telling experience has been mind-blowing as I'm overwhelmed by all these 風水、玄學 and Taoism terms. But the good thing is, I did get some solid advice.
喺中華文化幾千年嘅經驗裏邊咧，其實我哋已經咧係 set up 咗一套咧係以陰陽五行八卦為主嘅一套生活嘅理念。咁呢一套理念咧，佢會放喺天文地理，亦都會放喺人嘅生活啊，乃至係一個體質嘅發展。咁所以咧，你會睇下算命嘅時候，佢要睇啊，你係屬於乜嘢嘅命格嘅人啊？呢種命格嘅人係欠乜嘢啊？或者係旺啲乜嘢啊？你跟住你就去做啲乜嘢？佢從而咧係咁樣去推斷你嗰個嘅命運啊，嗰個週期。
A good journalist is never satisfied with just one sample, so I decided to visit the base camp of Feng Shui and Yuan He in Hong Kong. Temple Street is situated in Yau Ma Tei, a place that used to be a major harbour where fishing boats were moored for loading and unloading goods. In the past, fishermen always came to the Tin Hau Temple to worship the goddess before boarding. As time passed, more and more stores were set up around the temple to interpret the oracles from Tin Hau, and it has now become a tourist attraction. I randomly picked a store and told the fortune teller my day of birth. I was so surprised when the old master pulled this out.
嗱，你係屬老鼠仔嘅，
係啊，
今年26歲，
係啊。
係啊。
A tablet. I'm surprised to see how abrasive this traditional industry is.
咁你殺重喎，
即係咩啊？
官殺咧就比較咧就叫做叻人啊叻，即係你好叻，你好叻仔，啊好叻係好叻仔。
師傅，你唔係因為見到我拍片你先咁講啊嘛？
唔係啊，我哋照呢啲講嘅咋。唉，照你個名格嚟講嘅咋，唔係話拍片。如果我哋成日喺呢度，如果唔好咗，俾人揼到咩啦？係咪先？
So how about my luck in love?
即係你嗰啲講啲婚姻嗰啲嘢咧，
係
你啲好似好微咁喎。
我婚姻好微？
係啊。
嚇，即係咩意思啊？
即係女朋友少咯。
女朋友少，我少啊，唔緊要嘅。
少啊。
有一個就夠啦，唔使咁多啦。
冇錯啊，你講得啱啊，你得一個嘅啫，你得一個咋？
係，我得一個。
係啊。
What about my career?
你由8歲行運行到58歲。
我8歲行運行到58歲。係啊。咁我咪行運50年？
啊，你冇講錯，你唔使休噶啦，你做老細你又得，打工你又得，你正式啊18般武藝，你樣樣凡凡都精通。啊，冇得頂啊！
咁勁
啊，能不能生？你正式啊，喺百變嗰啲正式啊，仲犀利過孫悟空，
仲犀利過孫悟空。
係啊。
That's just too good to be true. More importantly, he hasn't yet made any solid or provable prediction about my life until.
即係同阿媽感情啊，幾好，同阿媽都叫做。
咁同老豆咧？
老豆嘅感情叫幾好嗰隻啦，阿媽個感情又好。
I have a terrible relationship with my father.
兄弟姊妹嗰啲，兄弟姊妹咯，你係冇兩兄弟姊妹嗰啲？
冇啊，獨生㗎。
得到一個。
我自己一個。
The final question.
師傅，你可唔可以俾啲咩建議我啊？即係譬如話咩着衫要着咩顏色啊？嗰啲可以改下運啊嗰啲。
嗱，你紅色、綠色。
紅色、綠色。
嗱，即係。
It didn't go so well. The fortune teller spent most of the time telling me how smart I am and how successful I will be.
冇得頂添啊！
It's more like flattery instead of making solid predictions. It's just too good to be true. Why would someone want to pay for flattery?
當一個人啦，即係佢覺得好冇控制嘅感覺，即係好似好冇掌控感嘅時候咧，我哋需要去揾一啲嘅掌控嘅感覺。咁所以好多時候就會靠一啲外在嘅嘢嚟令到我哋覺得啊，我哋好似掌握咗一啲嘢一樣。又或者咧，當一啲情況底下好似好冇好多 uncertainty 好多未知數嘅時候咧，其實迷信啊或者一啲類似嘅行為咧，都係要幫我哋去對抗呢一種嘅 uncertainty 嘅感受嘅。
I decided to increase my sample size and try another store.
冇墨冇字，靚仔上三成平均，耳殼啊薄啲啦，童年嘅環境爭啲啦。
咩啊？
耳殼啊薄啲啊，睇童年。
係，
出世童年環境啊麻麻地啦。你係屬於人字長，
即係好定唔好啊？
我1號長。呢個係睇父母啊，同老豆緣分薄啲喎。
咩？
同老豆緣分薄啊！咁大聲點樣啊？我哋啊！
咪覺得準啊嘛，覺得準咪嚇親咯。
The second store is a completely different experience. It feels more traditional and more accurate. At least he successfully identified my childhood and my relationship with my father. That perhaps made his predictions for my future more credible.
最緊要感情穩定，將嚟試一定都有前途。
好，
前途無量。
So they both share something in common. For example, I will live a good life, I'll have a bright future, blah, blah, blah. But when they go into details, they have some minor differences, but I won't say either of them is right or wrong. I got no way to verify it anyway. All I can do is just follow their life advice and go grab some red t-shirt.
Yep, that's all for my superstitious experience. Given the limited period of time I have, it's not suitable for me to make a final verdict on whether these superstitious rituals have any bearing on my future or not. But I can summarize some characteristics they share in common. Firstly, the information given to me is vague and generic. According to psychological phenomenon, the Barnum effect, it's people's tendency to accept vague, ambiguous, and generalized personality descriptions as being uniquely accurate of themselves. Secondly, even though they use the exact same bazi, which is my day of birth, for fortune telling, the interpretation can be very different.
呢個係睇父母啊，同老豆緣分薄啲喎。
老豆嘅感情要幾好嗰隻啦。
It's because there's human experience involved in interpretation, which may make it unreliable.
所以要從歷史學嘅角度就係話，我哋今日用嘅係科技，用科技嘅方法，咁我哋所有嘢就能夠好清楚準確去解釋到佢個前因後果。古人咧就只係從佢嘅實際嘅經驗去累積，從而咧就發展到摸索到一套咧係發展嘅軌跡。咁呢個軌跡會唔會有誤差呢？會唔會有解讀嘅錯誤呢？咁因為呢個只係人嘅經驗啊，係有人嘅一個成分喺裏邊，咁所以呢，佢嘅準確度如果用科學嘅角度嚟講係有差距。咁我哋只能夠就話佢呢啲係屬於科學嘅前期嘅部分嚇，唔係一個好完整純正嘅科學方法嘅一種觀察。咁但係對於人類嘅歷史發展嚟講咧，其實咧亦都係有相當嘅價值同意義，所以今日我哋都會叫佢做非物質文化遺產。佢裏邊所帶起嘅係我哋人類同埋喺過往嘅歷史裏邊，再加埋文化嘅一個結合嘅一個總體。
These folk culture have always been labeled as superstition and pseudoscience, but we may have been ignoring the importance of these activities in preserving the culture and also the positive impact it brings to us spiritually. Most importantly, the essence of the ritual is meant to make people feel good, to feel they have control over their life. After all, living in a highly competitive city like Hong Kong, who wouldn't want some guidance or help from the outside forces, right? I wish you a very good luck.